Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to Our Nerdiest Thing. Today, we're going to be talking about The Idea of You, the book, versus the movie.
Dun, dun, dun.
Make sure you listen all the way to the end, guys, because we have a great interview with author Ali Shantae. Which, fun fact, I said, hey, is it Ali Shanty? And she was like, nope.
You want to go down to a shanty?
I was like, oh, that's my Kentucky accent. Ali Shanty. And she was like, nope, that's not right. She was super fun to talk to. So make sure you listen all the way to the end for that interview. And before we get into anything else, Deb, will you please tell us a little bit, but only a little bit, about our nerdiest cocktail?
What happens if I tell you about the whole thing?
Then you go to timeout.
Oh, okay.
Whitney just pulled out her school marm.
No, only a little bit. Okay. It's a cocktail.
Perfect.
Okay. It's called Everyone is Dead, maybe. And you will learn more about it in our read-along episode this week. But it's tequila and pomegranate juice with some lime and sugar rim. And it's supposed to look like bloodshot eyes, which it really kind of does, which is fun.
Yeah,
I will say, we could not find pomegranate juice. Mindy said apparently it's with the fruit. I don't know why they put that juice separately. But so we use strawberry simple syrup, and it's delightful.
It's really good.
So I'm gonna have to get up in a minute and go get these, but I've also got some alcoholic shooter chocolates that we're gonna play with in this episode.
I'm really excited about this.
Right. So when we get down to our nerdy and dirty, we're gonna have to take a 30-second pause so I can go get the chocolates.
Okay.
I meant to bring them in here with me, but I wasn't looking at my notes. So
Well, before we get to that, before you have to leave us for a brief interlude.
to go get us more booze.
Yeah. Woo, woo. It's time for the nerdy news. I only have one.
I have one.
It's Bridgerton.
I have 4.
Well,
Shocker.
I've got the one. Bridgerton.
You're the one that has your finger on the pulse of the nerdy news. I'm just
That's
saying.
true. You are way more in tune with the masses than we are.
I'm way more anal on Goodreads.
But Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2 comes out later this week. This episode is releasing on June 11th. That second half of Season 3 comes out June 13th. That's what I'll be
very
doing.
excited.
Exciting.
And we're going to do a Regency Romance episode about and with Bridgerton as well.
In a few weeks.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Have you seen the thing going around where they call the first guy like Lord Spoonington because he's like licking the spoon, and then second season is Lord Sniffington because he's always smelling her.
I've not seen that.
Are you caught up?
Yes.
Okay. Then the third one is called Lord Fingerington.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
Sadie, I was watching it with her in bed last night because I hadn't watched that final episode yet. And she's like, well, it's a little awkward to watch with my kid. But,
Yeah.
you know,
I feel the awkwardness there.
my almost, adult kid when it comes down to it. For the record, don't come at me.
Well,
But.
my adult kid came in when Anthony and his wife were getting it on. And
In the gazebo?
This was
In Season 3.
in
Gotcha.
Season 3.
In bed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Inside,
it was just
in
like
bed.
they come
Gotcha.
in. It's always the perfect timing, and she was like, "And I'm out."
I love too how it's like in that gazebo scene. It's the first time I've ever had sex, and he's like, "Put your knees to your chin."
She's like, yes, sir.
Okay, you're right. Yes, sir.
I got it.
Also, can I say we're going to talk about this more when we get to those episodes? But the person having the most sex in every season is Benedict.
Oh,
No shit.
100%.
He is
yes.
getting laid all the time.
All
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
Which, I mean,
and every
I get
time
it.
you're like, oh, that's going to be who he ends up with. And he's
Nope.
like, nope,
It
fucking
never-
someone else.
Yeah, it never is. Yep. Not yet.
Go watch Bridgerton, guys.
Yeah, it's
good.
awesome. We'll talk about it and we'll talk about it more in a couple
Well,
weeks.
and I will say too, if you have not watched it yet and you're like, I don't do Regency Romance, Mindy and I don't either, and we love
I don't really
that
either,
show.
honestly. But yeah, it's really good.
Right.
I
I don't mind a little bit of Regency in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got a very contemporary vibe, but set in a Regency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All the score is contemporary music.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about like the tropes and everything are very similar to like a contemporary romance, but
Yeah.
it's just set in that time, and it's actually fun to watch.
It is,
You
yeah.
know, it's not like stuffy.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of.
Well, there's stuff in something.
They are stuff in something.
Some of them are. Mindy, what's your nerdy news?
So mine's really just an update. I think I had mentioned on an earlier episode that Emily Rath's Pucking Sweet, the third installment of her Jacksonville Rays series, it was supposed to be released on June 25th. So like now. And everybody was super excited. But she is now releasing it on September 24th. And first of all, I just want to say, like, anytime a release gets pushed back, there's always somebody who says, I just wanted to read it right now.
Don't be a shit.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. Because here's the thing. Like, most of the time it's because it's for a good almost all the time it's a good reason. But most of the time it's because the author wants to put out the very best version of what they want you to read. So, like, don't be a shithead about it. But this one actually is because she is just now starting, like, a hybrid publishing release. And so she wants to make sure that all her platforms get released at the same time. So you will be able to get Pucking Sweet from in the UK, in the US. You can get the audiobook and the ebook all on the same date.
Ooh.
So,
yeah, so she's doing hybrid, trad pubbed, and indie pub,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for her. She's had an amazing year.
Yeah, that's really great for her. Deb, you've got all the nerdy news.
If you have not listened to any of these episodes, or you are not on Bookstagram, you do not know that Leather and Lark just came out. It is, if you are a Book of the Month member, it is available in the box this month. You can add it on. So, Mindy, I don't know if you saw that or not.
I definitely added it on.
The other book that just came out is Fate of the Sun King by Nisha J. Tooley. This is the third installment of the steamy artifacts of, and I know I'm mispronouncing this, but Oreos. It's just how I say it in my head. And it journeys deeper into the glittering Fae world, where the main character puts both her life and her heart on the line in this enemies to lovers fantasy romance. But she's got some good steam. And yeah, she's really funny. I met her at a Polycon and just really cool person. The third book I want to tell you all about is Annie Blanc is Not Dead Yet, and this is by Molly Morris. It's her debut novel, and it's YA based in a small town where every 10 years someone is chosen to return from the dead.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about that. I actually have the audio arc for it right now, so I can't wait to listen to it. And then I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when I said what I was reading, but Now Conjurers by Freddie Cloche just came out. It's about a boy who ends up dead after he and his witchcraft friends conjure up favors from this devil type guy. And the problem is that he has died and then no one remembers him except for his friends. Like, he never existed.
Oh.
So, but it's a queer romance and very, very deep and very, very, very good. So I would highly recommend.
Oh, that's a different plot.
Yes.
Yeah, a different kind of story.
I'm always looking for stories that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, and I told you guys, I think last episode, I'm kind of in like my body gore era.
Yeah.
And there's some of that in there too. So that was fun.
Good thing Leather and Lark is coming out.
I know that. Talk about some body gore. I've heard she ruins pizza, so I'm glad I'm lactose.
Man.
I'm glad
Ice
I'm
cream
lactose
and
intolerant.
pizza?
Yeah.
Those are the best
Yeah,
foods.
that works for you, actually.
Yeah, I know. No ice cream, no pizza. She hasn't fucked up anything for me.
Why can't she just like ruin a kale salad instead of something good?
Right. She did repost something from me because I was scrolling through Instagram and there was an ad for cookies and cream, like vegan ice cream. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a teaser from Butcher and the Blackbird. And I was like, nope, just an ice cream commercial.
I feel like I missed an opportunity when I was in line waiting to get my book signed by her in Chicago. I thought I should have brought a pint, like an empty pint of cookies and cream ice cream for her to sign. Wouldn't that have been cool?
That would have been
Such a
cool.
missed opportunity. I think she's going to be at another con that I'm going to, or we're going to eventually, and so that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think I want to go with you to that.
Yeah. Tuck that idea away.
This is where we pause and I go get alcoholic chocolates. So the studio feed is going to have me getting up and running out the room, but the audio feed will not. I'll be right back. Excuse me, ma'am.
Her unbraziered breasts.
And the audio, but not the video.
I forget about the video. Oh, sorry.
That's like a sound bite. God, this is good.
It's good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to make another one for the next episode.
Not for me.
On the way out.
So let's get into the nerdy and dirty.
Can we get dirty first?
Always.
So as we go through this, I've got these alcoholic chocolate shooters. My daughter works for like this fancy like boutique candy store. I'm like out of breath from going and getting these.
You did say we were going to get dirty first, so.
Yeah.
So you have to actually be 21 to buy these, but I'm pretty sure you can get drunk off them. So Whitney, you'll be fine. So when you tell me what you're reading or watching or whatever, I'm going to hand you one that corresponds to the color of whatever your book cover is or whatever you're watching. So you'll have to tell me that.
Oh,
That's going to be important. Or just guess.
okay.
Give it our best
I
guess.
think I remember what this one was.
Give me vibes.
But yeah. So let's talk about what we're reading. Who wants to go first? Mindy, you want to go first?
Sure. I just finished an arc by Tara Weiss. It's called Bridesmaid to Bride, and it was really fun. It was just a nice, quick rom-com. She goes back, so it's this girl she has a twin sister, and her twin sister's getting married, and she's taking care of her wedding, and her, like, old nemesis is coming back to be the best man, and it's all about their, like, it's an enemies to lovers, like,
Fun.
yeah, it was really fun.
I love an enemies to lover.
Yeah.
Enemy to lovers.
What color is the cover?
I believe it was pink.
Okay, let's see here. You are going to get that's red. You're going to get the closest thing to pink, which is a rose gold.
Oh.
And this it looks like a Grand Reserve like tequila chocolate.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have
So
you
it goes
open
with our drink.
It goes with the drink. Yeah. What are you reading, Whit?
I just finished.
I just have to say really quick, it's so cute. It looks like a little miniature bottle. I
It
wish you
does.
could
It is.
see it.
They
So,
are cute.
For people that are listening, if you go to our studio feed on YouTube, you'll be able to see what they look like.
They're very cute. I just finished an arc also from Jessica Cage. I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend is the title of the book, and it was a wild
Tell them
ride.
what the first chapter
That's
is
what-
titled.
You open up to page 1. Chapter 1 is called Booty Juice. And within chapter 1, she is cleaning up. Unclear to me if it was butt sweat or poop stain, but she's cleaning. She's cleaning up something from somebody's butt off of the seat of her car, and then she also summons the demon. Is drunk and thinks that she's dreaming and like has wild, crazy sex all night long, but thinks that she's dreaming. Like that is chapter 1.
I've never had a dream that good.
That is chapter 1. And so then you're like, it sets the tone for the rest of the book. But it was really fun. It was a fun wild ride. Monster romance.
My chocolate is really, really good.
Is it good? Is it a whiskey one like I thought, or what is it?
It's tequila.
It's tequila. Whitney, I already know what cover, what color the cover is for you. So this is purple, and I think it's like a vanilla rum chocolate.
Ooh.
So I'm going to give that to you. And then I just finished Casey McQuiston's arc, who is the person who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue. The book is called The Pairing. Unfortunately, it does not come out until August 5th, so it's a little bit of a ways away. But I did give it 5 stars. It was really, really, really amazing. And that book kind of has like an orangey color. So I'm going to choose... I've got like a orange liqueur chocolate, which I'm very excited about.
I love orange and chocolate together.
I do too. And then I'm finishing up the Rivalry of Hearts arc by Tessanja Odette. We got sent that from the Nerd Fam, which was super duper awesome of them. And it's really fun. It's set in like a fae world, but they're on book tours together and they're having a who can hook up the most contest, which is interesting because that's what happens in The Pairing too. Casey McQuiston's book. Yeah. So I'm going to have my little orange chocolate here. I'm very excited.
I know. I just got mine unwrapped. I felt kind of dumb.
Whitney's also the person when she opens gifts, like slowly undoes the tape and all that. How is it?
It's good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is. I didn't think I would like it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I like boozy chocolate because it makes
I
it
do
more
too.
tangy.
I'm not usually a shots kind of girl, but within chocolate,
It works.
it works. Yeah, that's good.
Woo, this is a lot. It's
Wait,
good though.
what was your alcohol?
How do you pronounce it? Cointreau.
Control.
I would have said coin trial.
It's a orange liqueur.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, do you want me to go since you're chewing?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we talk about what we're watching? And I can go first since I'm not in the middle of chewing. So, I sent this to you guys, but I really want some listeners to send in if they've heard about this. So, I sent the two of you this video. It's called Twilight Tip Nails. And apparently there is something going around on TikTok where women are coloring their nails the color of their man's penis.
Listen, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but yuck.
So if
really
you,
bizarre.
if you are dating a white man, it's like purplish pink.
Are we just talking the tip here, or
Apparently so, I guess.
Yeah, so, but in this video, for the record, I guess I'm only seeing my husband's when it's filled with blood. So in this video, though, she talks about how her boyfriend is Edward Cullen, so she has like silver sparkly nails, and that's the color of his dick, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
So funny. But then I started watching Santa Clarita Diet with my daughter, which
I love that
came
show.
on Netflix a couple years ago, and they ended it very abruptly, which was a
it
bummer.
got canceled.
It is so funny. If you've not ever watched that, go watch it. Drew Barrymore is a zombie all of a sudden with a crazy sex drive and just keeps eating people, which is hilarious. She eats Nathan Fillion in the very first episode.
Yeah.
So
Well, Timothy Oliphant is her husband, and he's like, we're going to work this out.
we're watching it last night, and Sadie goes, "Oh my God, this is how Dad would react." She's like, "Honey, we'll get you someone to eat. Don't worry."
Yeah, I'll take care of you.
There's this scene where they have cut up Nathan Fillion's body and they're taking it to the desert to dump it. And she can't, it's like in a Rubbermaid bin and she can't find the lid. And so they wrap saran wrap over. And of course it spills. And she goes, "Don't bring up the fucking lid right now. Don't bring it up." And Sadie looks at me and goes, "Oh my God, that's so you and Dad."
Yeah, that is a really good show.
That's awesome.
We were really bummed when that got canceled, too. What are you watching, Mindy?
Mine could also be my nerdiest thing of the week. It's not, but it could be. I went down a complete rabbit hole. Somebody on Facebook, a friend of mine, posted, "Do you remember this cartoon from the 80s?" And it was Kid Video. I don't know if either of you all.
I don't remember that.
So it was this weird show where they're in a band, okay, and like the opening credits, they're all like getting together and they go to the garage to do the band stuff, and then all of a sudden this like cartoon evil guy is like, "Ha ha ha, I'm going to take you to my weird land," and then they become cartoons. And
What's he like?
So they go and they like have all these adventures as cartoons, but then they also at the end would always play like a video,
Play a song.
yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It was an original song, and that was their band. And I remember just loving this show so much. So I went on this nostalgia run, looked on YouTube. They're all on there. The first one actually has like 80s commercials interspersed in between it, which was hysterical. And then I'm looking, of course, it's like the worst show ever. Like, it's so terrible. Like, it's so bad.
It doesn't hold up, huh?
No, but it gave me, a little bit of nostalgia.
The feels,
Yeah, it was fun. I watched a few episodes. I'm not going to watch the whole thing.
I like watching stuff like that sometimes where I'm like, I know this is going to be bad, but it takes me back to my childhood.
It had like one of the commercials was like a My Little Pony shower.
That's weird.
It was very odd.
That's really weird.
Like they're in the shower together?
No, like it was like a small shower. Like you could hook it up to water and then like
for your
for the-
My
Oh,
Little
I had a
Pony.
Barbie pool like that you could like hook it up
was
to water.
very similar to
And
that.
then, like, of course, my mom's all pissed off because I'm getting like water everywhere, and I'm like, "She's not done in the bath."
Let me finish. That's how my daughter would be. Well, I did not watch anything that fun. Well, it was fun for me because I like true crime kind of stuff, but it was the Ashley Madison documentary on Netflix. It's
I've been
called,
seeing that.
I liked it. There's only 3 episodes. It's called Ashley Madison, Sex, Lies, and Scandal, which it's basically about a little bit about Ashley Madison and how it kind of became so well known and successful, and then really more about when it got hacked and all the users' private information came out, and they focused on a couple of different couples that, one guy was like, "I only signed up for it. I didn't actually do anything," and then was like, "Actually, yeah, I did do stuff." Which, like,
You don't say.
Yeah, like, obviously. But it was really interesting. I like that kind of stuff. So I remember Ashley Madison because of the 19 Kids and Counting horrible.
the Duggars.
Yeah, the son who's like the worst human being on the planet. He was on
Josh,
he was outed as being on Ashley Madison. So
he was just looking at it for a friend.
oh yeah, sure.
Don't worry about
it was just a joke at a bachelor party or something.
Right.
The
I just wanted to see what it was all about.
The excuses were something else.
I don't know who sent all those messages.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Someone must have hacked me.
What's really funny is that they charged men, like you had to buy credits and use credits to be able to like respond to messages and send people messages. But they had bots that they had like thousands and thousands of fake women profiles. And so they were having these men, real men, pay money to be able to send messages to bots.
Oh my God.
It's so sad. Like it's
Don't
sad,
cheat on
but
don't
also
cheat on your significant other, assholes.
Hello. But anyway, I thought that was
Natural
good.
consequences.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that specific detail
Yes.
quite a bit. So that kind of goes into what I'm listening to also, because I haven't really been listening to anything fun except for random true crime podcasts, which Crime Junkie has Crime Junkie Survived episodes, which I really, really love because the people survived whatever the situation is.
It's not all
So,
death and dismemberment.
It's not all. Well, the one particular episode that I linked for the show notes is a little bit about dismemberment, except not even a little bit. It's a lot about dismemberment.
They talk about dismemberment a lot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite I survived type stories. It's this like young girl who, back in the 70s went hitchhiking, and this man, attacked her and sexually assaulted her and literally hacked her arms off and like left her for dead, and she had to literally crawl like out of a ditch. And
she survived.
She survived. It is the craziest story you have ever heard in your life. And she ended up going to his trial and like sitting on the witness stand and telling her story, which a lot of victims, especially of really, really awful trauma like that, don't do that, right? It's a really amazing story, but I highly recommend the podcast.
I know that the Crime Junkie logo has some white in it, so you're getting a cognac. Not Kanye, cognac. Base liqueur.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either. I think is it a scotch? God, we are nerds. I'm like, vodka, tequila, bourbon.
I don't know, but I bet it's going to make me go, ooh.
I think it's like a...
You thought the last one was going to, too, so just go for it. Well,
the last one was vanilla, though.
I'm still in a little bit of an audiobook slump. I've still been DNFing audiobooks, but I did get Allie Hazelwood's arc, her new one coming out called Not in Love. And I'm going to start that. And I mean, surely I'm going to be able to get through that, right? And I know it has a pink cover, so I just found a coordinating color because there's no pink liqueurs in here. So I also have a cognac one, just so you know.
All right, we're in it together.
But for listeners, I really need some recommendations on like some ghost story, paranormal story podcasts because, and this is no offense, doing a podcast is hard work. So I want to say that out loud. You all, it is like a part-time / full-time job. So I'm not going to say which of these I did not enjoy, but I found two, and both of them talk like this. And they were like, and then she went in the woods. And I'm like, I just want them to tell the story. Yeah, right? How is that, Whitney? Are you struggling?
It had a kick to it that I was not ready for. But the chocolate does help.
Okay, good. So if anyone has any good ghost story, paranormal story podcasts that they want to recommend, I would love that. I did find one where the guy has the actual people come on and tell their story, and that makes it really intriguing. Cool. So I have enjoyed that one. I'll link it in the show notes. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called.
So I'm still listening to Dreadful, which has a red cover for your...
Southern Comfort.
This is gonna be fun, super fun. But yeah, Dreadful, and it's not dreadful. I think it's actually quite delightful. I've laughed out loud.
What's it about?
So it's the one where the evil overlord wakes up, but he doesn't have any of his memories, and he's like part of some big scheme with these other evil overlords, but he doesn't know what it is. So he's like trying to find out, and he's got like all these goblins working for him, and he's like trying to be good now. I don't know. It's really funny.
All right, eat your Southern Comfort chocolate, and you like it.
Well, good. While you are getting your chocolates opened, I can go ahead and share what I'm loving because I have two things. One of them is very random. The not random one, the Trope Trollop. Shout out to Trope Trollop on Instagram.
Which, by the way, she messaged me and she goes, Okay, so kind of shocked to hear my name on the podcast because I was like, oh my God, I'm such a stalker. And then she wrote back, but I don't care because you're my people. And
Yeah,
I was like,
100%.
I was like, please keep messaging us
Yes,
because we love it so much.
She was reading The Bonds That Tie and was sending me like play-by-play messages. And she was like, sorry, I'll stop messaging you. And I was like, don't you dare. I want to know everything. And
She also started watching
that.
Supernatural.
She did. Oh, shout out to the Trove Trollop.
Yep.
But I really
I have a
enjoyed
funny
that a
story
lot.
about her.
And the random thing that I'm loving, this is skincare. I'm like really into skincare. And I've been using the Retinol Complex Serum by Naturium, which is a brand you can get at Target. And I've just really been enjoying it for retinol. If you need one, check them out.
I'll tell you what I'm not loving.
That
Cognac
chocolate
tastes like rubbing alcohol.
I'm telling you.
I'm not a fan.
There's a kick that I was not prepared for.
I'm kind of loving my Southern Comfort.
Well, good.
Well, good. I think cheap whiskey like bourbon balls are super delicious because it makes it kind of more salty and tangy, but not a fan of the rubbing alcohol one. No, that was not for me.
I have to tell a story about the Trope Trollop. It's not about her, actually. But I mean, it is.
And we don't know their pronouns. They may be they. We'll find out.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
We'll find out.
I'll say they, them for now. So, they've been DMing me back and forth. We've been just talking about just random stuff. And one time, I was in the car and I was trying to DM back, and I accidentally hit, like, video call.
Did she pick up or did they pick up?
And I was like, oh shit. And I was like trying to turn, and so then I immediately wrote, I was like, I am so sorry, I hit the wrong button. And they were like, oh, I thought you butt dialed me.
They're like, I'm not picking that shit up. Don't worry about it.
I accidentally put it on something else. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like where it would automatically disappear right after you typed it.
Vanish mode.
I was like, how do I even do that?
What kind of shit were you sending them?
I don't know. I must have been drunk because I have no idea how it even happened. But like, so we had this whole like discourse about how I was clearly challenged. But it was fun.
Oh, you're so cute.
Well, what are you guys loving?
Well, I do these little ACOTAR bookcases that I absolutely love, and I've been working on a From Blood and Ash one, but I can't get it just right. You know how sometimes when you're working on a project and you're like, that's it, I finally got it. I'm not there yet. But I did start making a paranormal bookcase that like the front of it has like vampire fangs on it, and then a fantasy one that's got like a big gold dragon on the side. And I was going to make them and take them to Imaginarium to put on our table because I thought they'd be so cool. And then we had a storm and I lost power for 5 days, so I didn't.
Oh, that sucks.
But they're looking really, really cute. But I ran out of time. So I lost like 4 days in my studio, which really sucked. I was running the generator to my embroidery machine because I had an order that was due and I don't let my customers down. But it sucked really, really bad.
I bet.
Yeah, we moved into a newer neighborhood and we just lose power all the time. It's awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm not loving that, but I am
gonna
loving
say that's the
I was
opposite.
going to say that's
yeah. I don't think they're going to be done by the time this episode goes up because we're going to Imaginarium this week.
Yeah. Which will be fun, and we will be loving that as well.
We will
definitely be loving that. I'm just loving summer food. Like I made a nice tortellini pasta salad, and Darren's been making smoothies. It's just like I really love like fresh, cool summer foods, and that's just what I've been loving.
The seasonal eats.
Yes.
I love that too. That's a good one. But mine is like fudgesicles.
I like those too.
Does anybody haven't convinced me to read this book?
I may next week. Maybe I'll do the pairing next week, but I'm not ready.
I'm not either. I have one maybe.
Go read that book. There you go.
We'll put it on the list. Well, guys, now it's time to get into our nerdiest topic, which I'm really excited about because I think we all have a lot of things to say about this.
And they're all different.
And they're all, I think they might all be different. So we're going to talk about The Idea of You. We're going to talk about the book. We're also going to talk about the movie. The movie is starring Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzine.
Galitzine. It's like a magazine. That's how Anne Hathaway pronounced. She said, "Oh, you think magazine? It's Galitzine."
Oh, well, I will know how to pronounce it now. Thank you, Deb and
Actually,
Anne
it was
Hathaway.
Anne. I did not do it.
Thanks, Annie. So we're going to talk about that movie just came out within the last month.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say one thing first because I feel like everything else that I say will make more sense once we start talking about it. I am going to say that to me, the book and the movie are two completely different stories.
Kind of,
yeah.
I'm going to say...
I enjoyed the movie more having read the book, though.
I'm going to say, for me, and then I'll get more into this as we talk through these different questions, but I think the book is a story about sacrificing self. And I think the movie...
Trying not to lose yourself.
I think the movie is about a dream deferred.
Or a love affair.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, the dream is the love affair.
Yeah.
But it's a dream she's just putting off for a time. But I'm going to say that at the beginning, and then let's get into it, because I know we all have a lot of things to say.
Okay. First of all, who liked the book?
Me.
5 stars.
I love it.
I hated this book. 2 stars.
We're off to a strong start.
All right.
You know what, though? That's why there's 3 of us. We need...
So, and then I just want to throw out there, and then who liked the movie?
I did like the movie.
I liked the movie.
I didn't love the movie either.
I mean, I definitely... The book was better, but I mean, it typically is. But to your point, Whitney, they're really not the same.
Yeah.
They're not the same story.
I feel like I might have enjoyed the movie better had I watched it first.
Interesting. Okay.
But I definitely think the book was better. I don't think the movie was better than the book on any level. But
so
I think
how many
I would have.
stars did the movie get?
I didn't star the movie. No, I think I would have enjoyed the movie more had I not read the book yet.
Mindy wrote me and she's like, "Am I reading the same book as you?"
I seriously,
I will say too, I think this is a book that you should listen to on audio. I thoroughly enjoyed it on audio.
See, but the reasons I hated it are not going to be fixed by audio.
Okay, sure. I think also time and place and, kind of your mental state and all of that really can change how you feel about a book at a time.
Definitely.
So,
that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so let's kind of talk through our questions that we have in our notes, ladies. So, Mindy, is there anything you did like more about the book versus the movie? Since you didn't really like either one.
Okay, actually, the one thing I really did like about the book was the commentary on the double standard of the age gap for men and women. I did find that, like, it sucked, like it pissed me off, but like,
yeah, because it
was realistic.
Her husband left her for a 30-year-old.
Yeah, the husband. Don't even get me started. He's a douche.
He's a way bigger douche in the movie, which
That's
I love.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I agree.
The things that I liked the most about the book are all the things that they either took out or changed for the movie.
Yeah. So
every single one.
I think some of those are the same for me. Were you done, Mindy? I'm sorry.
Yeah, unless you want to know why I didn't like the book at all.
Well, yeah, tell us. I mean, what you.
Why didn't you like it?
Here's the thing: we're open to opinions on this podcast, but we're not. I mean, here's the thing: we're not bashing Robin Lee, the author, in any way.
And honestly,
not every book is for everybody.
Honestly, I thought it was very well written. I didn't. It was for me. I don't know if it just triggered me or something, but I'm getting ready to be an empty nester, and I've been like struggling with the fact that I'm not sad about it. Right. And so it kind of first of all, it was like there was this whole build up to the end and you knew it was going to end that way, but there was zero satisfaction after. And it really, the abrupt ending, just, I don't know. I don't have to have an HEA necessarily, but I need a little hope. And it was just like cut off.
It was bleak.
I think that's why I liked it so much though, because that really probably is how it would have ended.
I mean, yes, but I don't know. Also, the chemistry for me wasn't super believable, and everything.
I think again that's where the audio would have come in.
Are you talking about the book specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, both of them. But and then everything she said to Hayes about not quitting the band because he'll resent her also applies to her. She will resent her daughter. Like to me. And again, I feel like this is kind of a hot take, and I may get shit for it, but. If you find the love of your life, I'm sorry, but the kid's a kid. Like, deal with the shit. Like, I feel like there are other ways to deal with that. And I will say the 11-year-old may be a little bit more difficult to handle than the 17-year-old. But, like, in the movie where she's 17, I'm like, girl, that kid's not even going to be with you in 2 years. Like, that pissed me off. I'm like, why are you quitting because of her?
That is where, for me, that the age changes in the movie is, to me, what makes them completely. It's a completely different story, because not only did they age up the daughter, they aged up Hayes too. Yeah. He's 24
that was one
instead
of the things
of 20.
I liked in the movie, though.
Well, I mean,
24 and 20 are very different from each other.
Absolutely.
Yes, but it was the changing. technically, I guess their age is still kind of the same distance, the 17-year-old daughter and the 24-year-old man, but that doesn't feel the same as you having a 13-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old boyfriend,
Sure.
right? Like the dynamics of Solen's. That wasn't how I said it in my head when I read the book, so I have to think before I say her name. But it changes the dynamic of her relationship with both of those people when you age them up. Right?
Well, and I do wonder if in the movie, if she had been 13, if it would have felt bratty.
Maybe.
I wonder if that's why they changed it a little bit.
But see, I think it felt bratty coming from the 17-year-old because they kept some of the same beats of stuff that the daughter deals with. But in the book, you're talking about a 13-year-old. And in the movie, she's a 17-year-old. But she's doing and saying the exact things that the 13-year-old character was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, which for me did come off more bratty because I'm like, okay, you're acting like a 13-year-old, which I know that's where the source material is. Like, I understand what you guys are doing with the movie, but you didn't make her 13, so don't have her do these 13-year-old things.
But
you know what I
that
mean?
Wouldn't have been a reason for her to stop if she wasn't acting like that. Which again, I still feel like is like I get like the kid was getting bullied, and nobody wants to have their kid bullied, but kids are going to get bullied.
And to feel like it's your fault specifically. That's the piece that I'm like, I understand that part of it.
I do, and I don't. I feel like, I'm going to sacrifice a lot for my kids, and I have sacrificed a lot for my kids, but the love of my life, I don't know that I would, to be honest with you. And again, that's where I feel like I'm going to get some hate.
No, I feel that same way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel that same way.
Your kid can get on board because they don't rule the world for you.
And they're not going to be with those people forever, and they're not going to, they're going to learn how to deal with shit that they need to learn how to deal with.
I will say for me, though, the thing that I kind of agree with in the book that happened that kind of is her breaking point is that kid in her class telling her, hey, I turn 18 next month. Is your mom available?
Yeah, that was rough.
And that was her breaking point. And for me, as a mom of a kid who's 17, I'm like, okay, I might feel really differently about it.
Right.
But in the book, she could have been like she did in the movie, in 5 years, let's see where we're at. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I kept waiting for that to happen.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad they did that in the movie.
I wish that they had an epilogue like that in the book, because that's my whole thing. The book for me is not about Solen and Hayes. It is about Solen's relationship with herself and who she thinks she is / is supposed to be as a business owner, as an artist, as a girlfriend, as a mom, as you know what I mean? Like, it's not really about her and him. It's about her and her relationship with herself and how she thinks that she's supposed to behave and the choices she thinks she's supposed to make. But that kind of all got washed away in the movie a little bit.
It did, and that's what I was going to say that I like more about the book. So almost verbatim. Solen puts herself first in the book. Solen has tons of boundaries in the book, whereas in the movie it kind of looks like she's like, I'm just going to go on this summer love affair with this guy. And I feel like in the book they're together for like a year. It feels like much longer.
Well, because they see each other so infrequently for so many months.
So Solen's boundaries, though, that don't come up in the movie that I think are very, very important is, number one, she makes him use condoms up into a certain point that she knows that he is 100% only with her. She only visits when it works for her work schedule. She does not just like send her kid to summer camp and she's like, well, fuck my life. He just bought all the art in my gallery, which I also didn't like because that didn't happen in the book.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Another thing I really loved more about the book is that Hayes has a sexual history that makes him feel older and more worldly that also causes a lot of strife within their relationship.
Yeah.
Because in the book, he just seems like a kid that's kind of like bouncing around. But in the movie, in the book, he actually has had a relationship with a married woman.
Yep.
Like, you know, all these things have happened that make him feel older. But then also Solen's like, I don't know if I'm okay with this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
in the book, he has a history of dating older women.
Right.
And so no one in his life, inner circle, thinks it's weird that he's like, with her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the final thing I really liked about the book versus the movie was the level of spice in the book. There was some good spicing happening in that book. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was good.
Although I will say in the movie, that very first scene where they hook up, Oh my gosh.
in the hotel.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
hotel. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I
And
actually
he like covers her mouth. I was like, you do you. Christ.
I did enjoy the spice. And it's so funny, like, hearing you talk about these things. I did enjoy those things, but, like, it got overshadowed for me. And going back to what you were saying, Whitney, about how the book is really more about her journey and her, like, finding herself. That's what also made the ending so shitty for me, is because the ending was all about her ending with Hayes. I would have loved to have seen an epilogue. I don't even care if they didn't get together necessarily, but I would have loved an epilogue
They'd
where
seen
she's
each other or something.
or that she was just living her best life.
That she was okay.
That she was good.
That she was healing.
Yeah, like I just the abrupt ending, it ruined it for me. It really did.
It does give the image for me that she is going through the motions of her day-to-day life, being a good mom to her daughter, but being so deeply lonely and so unhappy, which you don't want for her,
right.
you know?
Again, I think the reason I liked it is because that is probably what would have happened.
Yeah.
I think that's why it resonated with me so much. I think the other thing, too, for me is I am her age, right? I have kids, her daughter's age, right? So I think for me, it felt very, like, personal almost.
Yeah.
Like more of a personal connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, all the things that I really loved about the book were the things that they changed about the movie. And so then I was like, okay, it reminded me, I know I brought this up a couple weeks ago, I think, when I had to do that paper about the Scarlet Letter. And I talked about how I really hated the Scarlet Letter movie with Demi Moore because it was called the Scarlet Letter, but it was like a completely different. That's kind of how I felt about the idea.
That was my sexual awakening with Gary Oldham.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel about this. Like, maybe 20 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to just think of this as a completely separate thing. Because it was. And I enjoyed the movie, and I still enjoyed that story. However, I do feel like, and part of this is just because it's a movie and they're constrained with their time and you can only do so much.
Longer, though.
It could have been longer, but they didn't take the time for me to delve into the emotional connection of the two. It very much came across to me as like, I'm just going to sex this kid up.
Yeah.
My summer.
I
while
was
my
okay
kids.
with it.
But their relation, like, part of the book is that she is concerned that people are going to think that she's just sexing this kid up.
And she only says it once in the movie, but she says it a whole bunch of times in the book.
Right. Like that's a big part of her paranoia and self-consciousness, right? And it is much deeper than that. They have an actual connection. It is an actual relationship. And they didn't really delve into that in the movie.
Yeah.
Can I give you some stats I found about the actual movie, the like actual stats? So it gets an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a very
pretty
good
good, yeah.
score
Really good.
for Rotten Tomatoes. Nearly 50 million people watched it in 2 weeks, making it the #1 rom-com debut for Amazon MGM, which good for them.
Wow.
Although I would not call this a rom-com.
No,
And it is
neither.
the most watched trailer ever for a streaming movie.
Oh, wow. Good for
Wow.
them.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, they should be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Right?
I will also say this. One thing that really bothered me at the beginning of the movie, because I was bewildered at the beginning of the movie, like, oh, okay. I thought the daughter was like 25, first of all, before they straight up said like she's going to be a senior in high school.
Right.
I was like, oh, they said that at like 30 minutes in or something,
Right.
and I was like, that girl is in her 20s, 1,000%.
Yeah.
There's no way. So I was like, what is happening? But anyway, they completely changed the meet cute of these two characters because they aged up the daughter, right?
Right.
Which made sense because they aged up the daughter. Okay, but the idea that this accomplished, intelligent, beautiful woman would go into a pop star's personal trailer and think, yeah, this is the porta potty for everyone.
Okay, no, I do find that really believable and I'll tell you why.
I thought that was crazy.
So we have had gala events that are on like personal property for my work, and they get these executive restrooms that look like that. So you go
on
in.
the inside, they look like
Yeah. You go in, they're very, very nice. It does not, because I mean, most of the time when you go in those trailers to go to the bathroom, it is like a fucking porta potty in there.
Yes.
Right.
With like the toilet
right,
flushes with the pedal.
Right. No, these
yeah.
executive bathrooms have actual water that runs, like there is an actual sink. So for me, those do actually exist. So when she did that, I was like, oh, she thinks, because she was going to the VIP bathroom.
I guess.
So,
See, I'm just not fancy enough to experience those kinds of bathrooms, I guess. because I was like, I would
Whitney
never.
just pisses in a field.
Yeah, I would Barstown. I would never walk into a fancy trailer and be like, yeah, the public bathroom for everything.
Oh,
like,
no, I totally found that
oh,
believable.
I was like, I'm out on this meet cute. And then
I didn't even think
he
twice
just
about
like,
it.
I did think it was funny that he was just like, well, I guess I'm going to listen to this lady
Yeah.
pee in my
I
bathroom.
did think that was really funny that he just sat there.
He didn't
And
say
I loved
anything.
the interaction.
Yeah. Yeah, that first, like, hi. I was like, oh.
He was like, well, I guess I'm just going to let this happen. That did make me laugh.
I admit, Dee, I think that you disagree with this, but I do think that they had really good on-screen chemistry. Like, especially when he kisses her the first time, there is definitely a lot of heat there. And he was actually asked in an interview who he's had the best on-screen chemistry with, and he said Anne Hathaway. But he was in that Cinderella movie with Camilla Cabello, and I guess that she did not like that and said something publicly like, oh, I thought we had pretty good chemistry. And I'm like, really?
That's
get over
unnecessary.
yourself.
Yeah.
Also, Anne Hathaway is a beautiful 40-year-old woman who is
Yes.
refined. And the reason maybe he didn't have chemistry with you is because you say shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Here's something else that you just reminded me. Something else that I really did not like that they did in the movie that I'm almost positive they did not do in the book is when they were playing up her self-consciousness compared to these like young girls like hanging around the band, and she comes out to the pool completely covered
And
from
like
like
a
neck
denim-
to toe,
A denim like
like an overcoat or
right,
something,
yeah.
and then she kept it on the whole time, and I was like,
Right.
but that no, because part of this is he brings out a confidence in her,
Right.
you know.
I did think
didn't
that
like
was a
that.
little
I do
bit,
remember in the book there's a little bit of her thinking that, but she does not
But
cover
she doesn't.
herself up.
Yeah, she doesn't actually. She has the self consciousness, and so I don't know if that was just their way of.
Well, in the book too, she
showing-
actually has a conversation with some of them, and like a real conversation. She gets to know the one girlfriend that doesn't end up being a girlfriend.
Yeah, she was not. She was
One
just
thing
a groupie.
I really liked, and I'm thinking of that scene, and this is what made me think of it. Oliver in the book was so fucking cringy and such a horrible person. And I was really kind of glad they left that out of the movie. Because for the book, it made a lot of sense. It added another depth of plot. But I think in the movie, if they had done it, it would have made it icky.
It would have been too confusing too, because in
Right.
the book that storyline ultimately doesn't go anywhere.
That's what I was going
Right.
to say.
It's
I think they could have left it out of the book.
It's
too.
Maybe,
it's
yeah.
like a character development thing, but it doesn't have any like effect on the plot overall. You know what I mean?
Okay, and
Right.
Are we supposed to think that Oliver's in love with Hayes?
No.
Okay, because that is
I don't think
exactly
so.
what I got. I got that.
Oh, wait.
In the
No,
book,
you're right.
Yeah, you are.
You're
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I think
forgot
I
about
think
that.
you are. Yeah.
But then he's fine after their fight, and he just goes after the translator. Like, I don't know, that whole side thing. I didn't care for. It was just out of left field
Yeah,
to me.
I do think that we
And like
were
you said, it
supposed to
doesn't
get
go
that
anywhere.
subtext,
Yeah.
but ultimately they don't. She doesn't do anything with it in the
Yeah.
book other than to like complicate
Well, I
their
think
relationship.
there's a whole. I think in the book it needed to be more believable why he would just give up the band too, because he says that a
Yes.
few times.
Yeah.
And I think that in particular is one of the reasons is like the continued strife through him, because you're supposed to make the assumption that Oliver has fucked other women that he was dating, like
Yeah.
while he
Yeah.
was dating them. And so
Yeah.
I think that it's supposed to add this level of like, well, why would he just give it up for her? Well, things aren't actually going that well.
Yeah.
Well, and that was another change in the movie that actually made him not quitting the band make no sense to me at all, because in the book the group is his passion project
Right,
and
right,
his
right.
brainchild, and in the movie he's like, I just tried out for something and I made it.
Yeah.
And he like did not care about it at all.
I think it would have added some depth to his movie character if they had left that in.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why they
only
changed
needed
it.
they only needed that one scene for it to be important. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why I don't know why they made that change, because I think it takes away from
How
the choice.
serious the band is.
Well,
And
the
he
choice
plays-
to break up with her or
Right.
to not be together, like
Yeah.
you don't care about this band, so
Right.
why not just
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it just doesn't make sense.
So the ending for both,
Mm.
Mindy, I know you did not like the ending to the book. I did like the ending to the book, but I also really liked the ending of the movie.
Me too.
When I was listening to audio, I was like, so where's the epilogue? Like, what's
Yeah.
going to happen? And so them doing that in the movie really just like made my night. When I've watched
Yeah.
this movie twice, by the
And
way.
what I loved about it too, because that is the one thing I really, really liked more about the movie than the book.
Yeah.
Is that they at least entertained that idea that they could be together after a few more years. But what I loved about the way they did it, it wasn't like and they lived happily ever after. It was
Yeah.
like, it was that sort of, they ended it with that hopefulness. And
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
I missed in the book.
They're at least gonna still have a connection to
They're
each
gonna
other,
get- yeah.
right? They're not gonna never see each other again.
Yeah.
Which in the book it very much is like, oh
That's
no,
it.
she's
I
unhappy
fucking bawled
forever.
my eyes out.
Me too.
Because I felt like both of them are going to be like.
I fucking threw my Kindle.
Here's the thing, though. The reason I bawled my eyes out is because I felt like you said, it was like the love of their life, and like you can't replace that feeling. If that is your person, you cannot replace that. And you said something that really stuck with me, Whitney, as we were kind of texting back and forth about this. You said that you didn't like that Solène kept telling him, like, you're so young and you're not going to feel this way later. And you're like, but I met my husband at that age
Yep.
and I still feel that way.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? And
We were 20.
right. I agree with that. And I get that she's not 20, but
Right.
he doesn't act like a little kid. Now, again, I do wish in the book he had been 24. I liked that a
Yeah.
lot better because then in the epilogue he was 29.
Right.
And so that just, it makes it, but again, we read these age gap romances all the time with the guy that's in his 40 and a girl
Yeah.
in her 20s, and no
Yep.
one ever says shit about it.
Right.
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 The age gap, which I thought might bother me, didn't bother me
didn't
at
bother
all.
me.
It didn't
At all.
bother me
100% not at all. And in both of them, I feel like in the book he came across as more of an old soul than he did in the movie, but I felt like both of them were believable as far as the age gap was. That didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either. And it makes me, I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say.
So I want to, okay, go ahead.
The book that she keeps saying to him, like, well, you're going to change your mind. I feel like she is jaded by her divorce because her husband changed his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something I did not say that I really loved in the movie, because in the book, the woman that he leaves, her husband, Solène's husband leaves her for, she's 30. She ends up pregnant. They end up getting married, right? Which causes a whole other pivotal plot point in the book. In the movie, Eva leaves him because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I love when she looks at Solène and she's like, would you like want to grab drinks sometimes? And Solène goes, no.
I
Eva
like
goes,
that too.
Yeah. It just walks
Yeah,
off.
like, fair enough.
That was funny.
I was like, because I think too, like, she's supposed to be so understanding because he's in love and all this shit. And like, she does not have to be understanding. He cheated on her with that
Again,
woman.
it's who she thinks she's supposed to be.
Right.
That she's making all these choices for who she thinks she is or who she's supposed to be.
Right.
And she hurts herself in the process with her ex-husband and with Hayes.
Right.
Because of what she thinks she's supposed to do.
Well, what was your all's favorite part in both? That's what I'm really interested in.
I really like the book a lot. My favorite part, I like all the spicy stuff.
I do too. And I will say it's not so much like this in the movie, but the angst and the slow burn in the book
Yes.
is amazing. And if I hadn't read the book, you get none of that in the movie.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And so like, I think that because she doesn't have the boundaries in the movie and they just kind of get right down to it, it does make her look like a cougar.
Yeah.
Whereas in the, again, and I'm not saying that as a negative because I don't like that word. There's nothing wrong with a woman being older than a man.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Having said that, that angst of like, you know, she kept saying like, it's just lunch, Hayes, or like, I'm not letting you fuck me without a condom, Hayes. Like there's all this slow burn and like they really have a relationship. Like you said.
I think that I like a slow burn and I did like a lot of the angst, but I felt like it went on a little too long and it was a little too overdramatic. I felt like it was basically like, I'm too old for you, but I love you. Okay. And then you like rinse and repeat and it just kept going on like that. And I'm like,
I'll let him rinse and repeat me.
I mean, like 2 or 3 times, okay, but it was literally like every time.
Can
whole
I
book.
have it? Can I have it more than 2 or 3 times?
Yes, you can. You can have it all.
There's a scene in the book. I can't remember exactly which meeting it is, but it's one of the early ones. But she has this whole scene where she describes him touching like her leg and her knee and how he like slowly moves up her
You like that
thighs
knee
and stuff.
touch, don't you?
I mean, I just thought it was really talking about the tension and the angst and stuff. Like it was really well written, slow burn of like, it starts off at least as a fairly innocent touch of like on your shin or something like, you know, like, oh, my ankle, you know, but the way she writes it, you're like, ooh, my ankle, to brush it again with your fingertips, you know, like,
yeah.
I did like that.
I mean, he definitely in both the book and the movie seems like he knows how to touch a woman.
Absolutely.
The writer did a very good job with that.
You know what I think my favorite part of the movie is that he sang all those songs. That's him singing.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yep.
I
So-
was like, they wrote songs and did a whole music video for this movie.
They did. Let's talk about the band August Rush, because I also have some stats about them too. So
August Moon.
I'm sorry. August Rush is a
Rush.
movie that's really amazing. It has
I put August Rush on here too.
Carrie, who's the chick from Felicity?
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell and the guy that is on the Tudors, the really hot guy. Anyway,
Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
yes, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. He and her in this movie have amazing chemistry. It's called August Rush. It's really, really good. It's about music, and they have like an orphaned little boy that they've given up for adoption and everything. Really, really good. Anyway, August Moon, whenever this movie came out a couple weeks ago, actually debuted on 3 Billboard charts.
Oh my gosh.
So number 7 on the Heat Seekers albums, number 11 on soundtrack albums, and number 35 on emerging artists.
Well, good for
Interesting.
them.
I know, right? Good
Good
job,
job.
August Moon.
Yeah.
It's like the Monkees.
Yeah, the songs were catchy.
They were very catchy.
Yeah, and I looked it up and I was like, ooh, he can sing, which makes him more
Yeah,
attractive
it's
to
not
me.
making you less hot, buddy.
I know,
See,
right? It's just not.
It's
What
not
does
my,
it for
it's
you?
not my kind of music. It just
Yeah.
isn't. So now I might listen to Emo Rory's solo album.
Rory's. Well, that answers the question. So you wouldn't listen to that. I never really listened to boy bands. I think I'm just maybe like 2 or 3 years too old for that, but I was always a chick rock girl. I still am. But like you said, the songs are very catchy and they have been stuck in my head several
Yeah,
times.
I would listen to it. I did listen to it.
Yeah.
I am.
I
listening
made
to it.
Whitney an NSYNC book cover, if that tells you anything. So
I still listen to my boy bands.
yeah.
So.
And here's the thing. I did put one of their, like, the songs that he sings. Maybe it's like at the end in the credits or something. I did put it in my favorites list because it's a very beautiful song. I forget
Yeah.
what it's called. Sorry.
I think
about
it's
that.
called The Idea. It might be The Idea of You or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I think it is.
It's
but
quite good. He's got quite the voice.
yeah, it was good.
I'll have to go back and listen because I don't know if I was just so pissed off that it didn't like it was forgettable to me, but maybe I would enjoy it. I don't know.
I mean, they are very catchy songs.
They are
very.
they are
I
catchy.
couldn't tell you.
They're very poppy though. So
Can you imagine them being like, okay, we're going to make this movie? Well, and it almost reminds me of That Thing You Do.
Yep.
Right? Those
I
were
love that
songs that
movie.
got very popular on the radio.
Yeah.
Also, like the Cup song with Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
Right? It's all the same thing. But can you imagine just singing on the song and then it's like, oh, we're on the Billboard charts. Oh, and then
That's so
I
crazy.
love
It is
that
really
they
cool.
I love that they got to make a music video too.
I
How
know.
fun is that?
Made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so much like music department is not the word that I want.
The music
The
department.
music department. That's so much music department work, music business, I think is what I'm trying to say. For
Did
a
you-
movie, right? For actors.
Mindy, did you like the casting?
I adore Anne Hathaway.
She's good in everything.
Well, except for One Day, I didn't like her in that.
I've never seen that.
But actually, I didn't mind her in that. It was just that I didn't like the adaptation of that movie. But no, I adore Anne Hathaway, and I didn't dislike Nicholas Galitzine, but I personally don't find him super attractive. I don't know
Him
what
with
it
a
is.
spoon.
I feel like he looks like a douchey frat boy, and I
does
just
not.
can't.
See, I would be feeling like that if they had done Timothy Chalamet. Like I
Right,
would be,
I
I
agree.
would feel the exact same way because it's just not everybody is for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I can see the appeal. I'm not saying I don't think he's ugly by any means. He's just not personally my type.
My notes were Anne Hathaway was perfect, all caps.
Yeah, she was good.
Nick Galitzine was perfect, except I wish they had dressed him like the book did. So he was always kind of the front runner, like bad boy, kind of like the black skinny jeans and the boots and like.
I did like how
the
they
leather
each
jacket.
had their own, like,
Yeah.
he was the swagger. And
I think also in the movie it would have made him feel older.
Yeah.
Because he was dressing very 19-year-old LA.
Frat
I
boy.
felt like, the cargo pants and the big fluffy cardigan and all that shit. And our
Right.
friend Holly has some serious problems with the way they dressed him in the movie. She's so pissed off about it.
Well, it's kind of the same thing they did with the daughter. Like, we're going to age you up, but we're still going to have you do the things that the
Right.
20-year-old in the book does.
because
you know?
the thing is and also skinny jeans, black boots, that is my kind of guy
Yeah.
too. So I was
That's
missing
my
one.
type.
That's my type, baby. Yeah, so I thought the casting was really, really good. The husband was great casting.
I really liked everybody casting wise except for the daughter
I didn't
because
like the
she
daughter.
was like she looks like she's 25 years old.
She
I
does.
also loved the addition of the male friend.
Yeah.
He was hysterical.
What did he say? Like, hi, I'm a student council treasurer
Yeah,
over
something
at blah,
like
blah,
that,
blah
yeah.
high school.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess she's not 25, but I
Right.
still wasn't
Yeah,
sure how
that
old she
he-
was at that point.
Yes, that actor was perfect.
Yeah.
I liked that addition.
I did too, actually. I liked everybody except the daughter. I liked everybody except the daughter. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about with those?
I liked it. I liked
them
seriously.
both too. I just wish they were the same story.
Right.
You know?
Book 5 stars, movie 3.5, 4 stars. I mean, I
would
watched
agree
it
with
twice. I watched it twice, and I'll probably watch it again.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Mindy,
Mindy's
you can
like
keep yours to yourself.
negative 27 stars.
I gave the book 2 stars. I mean, I'd probably give them the movie 2 stars too. It just didn't interest me.
I will
and that's
say,
okay. Like I think it's awesome that you all loved it, and I can see the appeal. Like it's not even that I think like nobody should like this.
You guys are stupid.
Yeah, I don't think that at all. I think Deb hit the nail on the head when she said that it kind of depends on where you are in your life and sort of what your thing is right now. And right now, my thing is I'm an empty nester, and I'm really happy about it. And I wanted to slap these kids, and it just pissed me off. So
I don't think you should feel bad about being excited for this stage. Yeah, don't. Because you said earlier, like, I'm kind of worried about it.
You've raised your kids. You've done your time.
Yeah, don't feel bad about it.
I feel like I should feel bad, but I don't.
No.
You know? Yeah.
You're being like Solène. This is the mom I should be.
Yes.
Well,
let's move into our nerdiest thing of the week. Who wants to go first?
Well, I have 3. One was the blind taste test with the alcoholic chocolates. I really enjoyed that. And I have another one of these to take to book club, by the way, another box. My second one is I was reading a physical copy of a book and tried to double tap on the page because when I'm reading on my Kindle, and especially there was a book I was reading. Oh, it was Casey McQuiston's The Pairing. It had some French phrases in it, and you can tap on it and see what they mean, right? And so I was reading a book, and I was like, I don't know what that word means, and I literally fucking double tapped it. And I was like, that's not going to work. And then my third nerdiest thing of the week is that I did do a drawing of Castile based off Hayes from The Idea of You, which I really, really enjoyed. I added a lot of swagger to it, though, because, I mean, he does look very young in that movie, and Castile's a little bit more worldly.
I enjoyed your rendering better than I
Thank you.
I
Although
did,
I did get shamed in the JLA group by a woman because she's like, well, I'm 43 and he is 29 and that's gross. And I was like, honey, I'm 42 and I'm fine with it. Again, I'm like, you're part of the problem.
Exactly.
Like, that is a 12-year age, 13-year age gap. And if it was a man, you would have said nothing.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm like, you go ahead and you go have your sad feelings in your house. I'm going to go over here and feel horny and be happy about it.
And we're not talking about 17 and 30, right? Like
exactly. We're talking about consenting adults.
It's all legal.
Yeah.
Well, I only have one nerdiest thing because, as Deb would say, I follow the rules. You said that to me so many times.
Well, I'm breaking all the rules by thinking a 29-year-old man is very hot.
No, I don't think that breaks the rules.
It doesn't.
So mine is that my oldest gave my husband and I our Christmas presents this week. Right? Better late than never.
From last
I was
year?
just about to say
or
this
December.
early.
Yeah, no.
They're not early. They're late.
That is
Right,
hilarious.
okay.
And he gave me a coloring book because I like coloring books. I think they're fun. But he gave me one called the Smut Reader coloring book.
Oh.
And it's got all the great phrases. It's hilarious. I've linked it in the show notes. Go check it out. It's so funny.
Can I also add that if you're not following us on Instagram, number one, you should be Our Nerdiest Thing. Or I'm sorry, Instagram.com/Our Nerdiest Thing. But we also have a channel in there where we share all kinds of personal stuff. And Mindy's husband, for their new camper, they had they needed an outlet cover or something. And he 3D printed one that is the STFU, like a good girl, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Fucking hilarious.
And it's still up. I said, don't take that off because that's hilarious.
Well, and your kids aren't young enough to be like, what's that, mommy?
True.
What's yours, Whitney?
Well, I have 2. Well, technically I have 3 because now my sunscreen is like melting into my eye and I'm like winking at you guys like that episode of Friends where Rachel keeps winking and Joey keeps winking back. Well, I got a Kindle because I found...
You did?
I
did.
I guess I didn't know you didn't have one.
No, she reads on her iPad.
I've been reading on an iPad.
Like a loser.
Yeah. Well, now I've got a Kindle. I found an Amazon gift card that I had forgotten that I had. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get a Kindle. And then our friends on the video are like seeing me be like, I've lost my eyesight. The other one just happened yesterday. I'm trying to remember when okay. So I was getting ready to teach the workout class that I teach. And this girl came up to me and she was like, I have something for you. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's my dick.
Yeah, I was like, this could go in a lot of different directions. And she was like, my friend ordered this stuff and they sent her the wrong thing. And she's like, what am I going to do with this? I don't want this. And I said, the girl says to me, I said, I know exactly who to give that to. And she pulls out like 10 stickers that are all like dark romance read.
Nice.
Stuff. And I was like, I love the fact that you know that I'm the person for this.
For those.
They're so cute. I'll try to remember to take a picture to put on the Instagram, but they're so cute. And I was like, this is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. So,
hello, we're sitting right
at the bar, at the
Okay,
bar
cool.
studio,
The bar studio, not at the bar.
workout, bar-A, as my dad calls it, bar-A. But it was really funny because she was like, I know exactly who to give this to. And it was me. So.
I just found a vodka citrus chocolate in here, so I'm giving it to Whitney because she loves vodka. Ooh, there you go.
I do. Thank you. Well, I think that's it. Stay tuned for our interview with Ali Shantae and listen to our episode on Thursday.
And bye.
Bye.
Bye.